Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm super excited to dive into our very special 11th episode. Can you believe it? And today we're tackling a topic that's on everyone's mind as the election is right around the corner. Trump or Biden? Who will win the upcoming United States presidential election? I mean, it's such a crucial time and there's so much to think about. I'm really curious to see everyone's opinions on both sides. So, Rowan, what do you think are the biggest issues voters are focusing on this election?
Well, Mia, I think one of the biggest issues is definitely the economy. People are really concerned about jobs, inflation, and just making sure they can afford their lives. You know, Trump has always been about economic growth and making sure people can thrive. But then you have Biden, and it seems like everything's just gotten more expensive under his watch and people are hurting. And then there's national security. I feel like Trump's strong stance on protecting our borders and military has always made a big difference. People want to feel safe. Have to admit, too, the whole handling of the COVID-19 pandemic is still fresh in people's minds. I think how each candidate handled it or promises to handle it moving forward is definitely playing into their decisions. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying about the economy. It's true that costs have risen, but I feel like Biden's genuinely trying to tackle these issues in a more sustainable way, focusing on long-term solutions rather than just quick fixes that might not last. And his efforts to address climate change, super important in the big picture. As for national security, I guess, yeah, safety is a huge concern, but Biden has also emphasized international relationships and diplomacy, which I think is critical these days. It's not just about strong borders, but also about fostering global connections. And COVID-19, oh man, what a mess that was. I really believe Biden brought a sense of calm and a more structured approach after the chaos. So while both have their strong points, I think it comes down to what kind of future people envision for the country.
I get where you're coming from, but with Trump's approach, we saw some pretty immediate results. The economy was booming before COVID hit, and his policies really made a tangible difference, like people saw it in their paychecks and job opportunities. And on climate change, I agree it's important, but Trump's focus was more on not sacrificing our economy over it. Sometimes these long-term solutions can hit people's wallets hard in the short term, which isn't always sustainable for everyone. National security-wise, I get the diplomacy angle, but I've always felt like Trump made it clear, don't mess with us, and that straightforwardness brought a kind of stability. Biden's diplomacy is important, but sometimes strong, clear lines are necessary too. What about how each candidate's personality plays into their public perception? Do you think that impacts voter decisions?
Absolutely. The personality of each candidate really influences voters' perceptions. With Biden, you have this sense of empathy and connection. He's genuinely concerned about people's well-being, and that resonates with a lot of folks. He's approachable, and that kind of warmth and concern can be really comforting. On the other hand, Trump's confidence and assertiveness appeal to people who appreciate strong, decisive leadership. They see him as someone who won't back down and will fight for what he believes is right, no matter the cost. That kind of personality can feel reassuring too, especially when folks are looking for someone to shake things up. It's fascinating how these different traits can sway people's opinions regardless of policies. Some might prioritize empathy and diplomacy, while others see strength and assertiveness as crucial. It really is a big part of how people make their choices in the voting booth.
Exactly. Personalities can be such a huge factor because, at the end of the day, presidents are leaders, and how they carry themselves matters. Trump's got that business-minded, no-nonsense approach that's get things done, no excuses, which I think a lot of people find refreshing. Not to mention, he's definitely not afraid to speak his mind, even if it ruffles some feathers. And Biden, yeah, his empathy can definitely connect with people on an emotional level. But sometimes I feel like his public appearances and speeches, they don't always inspire confidence, It makes me wonder if he's always in control or if there's someone else kind of pulling the strings behind the scenes. Switching gears a bit, Has there been a time in your urban exploring adventures where you felt that kind of strong leadership or confidence in someone you've encountered? It's such an unpredictable world out there. I bet you've met some fascinating characters.
Oh, definitely. I've met some really interesting people while out urban exploring. There was this one time we were checking out an abandoned factory and ran into this group of fellow explorers. The leader of their group was this woman, let's call her Alex, who had this incredible ability to keep everyone calm and organized, even when things got a bit sketchy. What I found so impressive was her mix of assertiveness and empathy. She knew how to take charge and make quick decisions, but she also made sure everyone felt included and safe. It's a balance that's kind of rare to find. It reminded me a bit of Biden's empathetic side, coupled with a touch of that decisive attitude. In such unpredictable environments, having someone who can lead with a steady hand really makes all the difference.
That's really cool, Mia. Urban exploring definitely brings out some interesting dynamics in people. I remember this one time I was exploring an old asylum with a group, and we encountered this guy, let's call him Tom. He had this uncanny knack for making quick, decisive calls, especially when we felt like we were getting lost or things got creepy. Tom wasn't the warmest person, but his assertiveness really kept the group moving and safe. It kind of mirrored what I think is essential in leadership. Sometimes you need that firm hand guiding you, especially in uncertain situations. You don't always have time for a committee meeting, you know? It's fascinating how these experiences can remind us of the qualities we look for in leaders. Have you ever felt like you were in a situation where empathy alone wasn't enough, and you needed that assertive push from someone to make it through?
Oh, absolutely. There have been a few times when, during our urban exploring adventures, we'd come across some rough situations. One that stands out was this time we were deep in an old subway tunnel. It was dark, damp, and there was this overwhelming feeling of what are we doing down here? We had a guy with us, let's call him Dave. Now, Dave wasn't the most empathetic person. He was more on the assertive side. There was a moment when we heard some unsettling noises that could have easily freaked us out. Dave stepped up, no hesitation, and just firmly told everyone what to do, kept us moving, and basically took charge. At that point, his assertiveness was exactly what we needed. His clear direction and quick decisions got us through safely. It really made me realize sometimes you do need that strong, decisive leadership to navigate through, especially in high-pressure situations where hesitation could be risky. Wow, this has been such an engaging discussion, from the key election issues to our wild, exploring adventures and how different leadership styles can really make or break a situation. It's incredible how much these personal traits in a leader can impact people's lives, both in politics and in everyday scenarios. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you all with something to think about. In your own lives, when have you found that balance between empathy and assertiveness in leadership to be most impactful? Reflect on those moments and maybe even share with us how they've influenced your perspectives. Until next time, take care and keep those minds curious.